I agree with Dr. Ramsey's point about how when we see things that are different from us, our first reaction can sometimes be fear. We are afraid of things that are different from us, which makes a lot of sense, actually, right? It makes sense that our brains would kind of be wired and would have evolved to be afraid of things that are different because they could be dangerous, right? But the great thing about being human is that we can use our brains to think about those new things that we find, right? And so, the best way to not be afraid of something that's different is just to learn more about it. And I'm actually finding, just from the information I've seen on the video so far, that bugs are becoming a little bit less scary. So, I wrote down some things that I noticed and wondered, and also some things that I was reminded of when I was watching the video. I want to share some with you. So I noticed that bugs are a big inspiration for movies, and he mentioned a few in the video, but it made me think of a few more too. That was one thing I noticed, and I also noticed that he talked about some bugs are actually helpful and eat bugs that we definitely don't like mosquitoes and houseflies. Those are probably two of my biggest, annoying bugs. And I also thought it was interesting that bugs have found some really interesting ways to adapt or survive in nature. And I also noticed him talking about how important bees were, which was something that I kind of already knew, but it was nice to hear it again. And these things kind of made me wonder, I wonder if people find bugs so scary because of how they're represented in movies, because they're often scary in movies, right? Or we use them to then make even scarier creatures. And it's also making me wonder how I can find out even more about bugs so I can learn about the bugs that I actually want to keep in my yard and maybe the bugs that I don't want to keep in my yard. And I was reminded when he talked about bees that it's bees are important and I should continue educating people about how important bees are because lots of times people want to kill bees because they're afraid that they're going to sting them, but we can't be doing that because they're so important for pollination and to keep us eating all those yummy fruits and flowers in our environment. I'm really curious to hear something that you noticed or wondered or were reminded of.